Thank you for your time tonight. I want to address one issue that has been brought up before, and that is this district's liability, but highlighting a different area. It's no secret that the closings have been publicized, and in the district's closing, it touched on one of the topics that has been talked about at many of these meetings in public comment, which was the changing of Mr. Pappas's evaluation. And in the district's closing, it was stated that that was done by mistake. I would submit to you that that is actually a fact outside of the evidence and outside of the record, and so it should be stricken from the closing because there was no testimony or evidence given that it was a mistake. There were a lot of things in that closing that were not part of the evidence, if you take the time to look. But assuming that it was a mistake, I asked the board to investigate what has been done to fix that mistake. Because that's a pretty serious and significant mistake. A mistake that has been submitted to the Pennsylvania state authorities on behalf of Mr. Pappas, which affects his ability to seek additional employment should he decide to leave this all behind him. He currently has a big fat 0, which was a mistake. So what has been done? Because if it truly was a mistake, and perhaps it was, then it should be fixed. And it should have already been fixed when it was brought up in January. And if it's not fixed, then I would submit that this board has pretty significant liability as it relates to Mr. Pappas, because his employment records have mistakes in them that have been left unaddressed. And this board has been, apparently for a while now, aware of this mistake. So looking forward, your decision, as I've said before, is not made in a bubble. There are consequences to your decisions, as there are with any decision that you make. I think that the board should look at all of the potential consequences of the decisions that are being made, that are being brought before you, and what not just the short-term consequences and ramifications of those decisions are, but what the long-term consequences and ramifications are, because this district cannot afford another lawsuit. We have very little money. From my understanding, reading the budgetary minutes, we are operating in the red on our proposed budget by not just a little bit of money, by more than $1 million. It is a contract year. Our teachers deserve a raise. They deserve better benefits. They deserve not to have spouse carve-outs or kid carve-outs. We want the best for our kids, and that means providing the best for our teachers and good teachers. That means not wasting money on stupid things like lawsuits and liability. I would also submit, after reading both of the closings and understanding that this board published the statement of charges against Mr. Pappas prior to him being demoted, prior to this board taking any action to sign his demotion, leaves this board open and leaves the members of this board open to potential suit for defamation. Alleging misconduct in one's employment is defamation per se, meaning it is assumed, if not true, to be defamation and to cause damage. I would submit it would be hard-pressed to substantiate factually any of those allegations that were made against him, and the board should think long and hard again what the liability is because any dollar that comes out from a lawsuit is less money for our teachers and less money for our students. And that is what is important. Thank you.
Thank you.